Hi, and welcome to a special Friday the 13th episode of Coaching from the Couch. No, it's the 13th. I checked this time. But it's Monday. What? Why are you waiting till now to tell me? Well, what did you think the skeleton was for? Make sure if you go out in public you're wearing a mask. At least he was good for something. So anyways, welcome to a regular episode of Coaching from the Couch. This week is our personal fitness week. Let's go over the schedule. On Friday we are going to have our quiz. We are possibly going to have our Zoom meeting. I've been hearing there have been some issues at other schools and in other classes, so I think we've been doing fine without our Zoom meetings, but I'm going to get that all sorted out, and I will let you know later in the week if we're going to do that on Friday or not. Before we move on from Friday, the quiz. Don't forget, that is an open note quiz. So use your 413 document, have that open while you're taking the quiz. You also can take the quiz until you get the grade you like. Hopefully, if you have your notes there with you, you get the grade you like on your first attempt, and everything is just fine. Otherwise, retake it. On Thursday, we're going to do an activity that has to deal with our principles of training, which are on our 413 document. Wednesday is our CFTC Outside the Box video. That is going to be discussing exercise safety, exercising safely. I'm not looking forward to filming that one, but hopefully it turns out well. Tomorrow we are going to submit our SMART goals. So let's talk a little bit about goal setting before we break down SMART goals specifically. Goal setting should be either short-term, intermediate, or long-term goals. For our purposes of our SMART goal, we want to set a short-term goal. What I mean by short-term is 1 week to a couple weeks for us. Short-term goals can be anywhere from 1 week to a few months. Because if you think about it, if your long-term goal for like a high school athlete or an Olympian, and their long-term goal goes for 4 years, their short-term goal doesn't make sense for it to be 1 week. So their short-term goal could be a little bit longer. But for us, just a quick, brief, short-term goal, 1 to 3 weeks, maybe a month, somewhere in that range. So let's discuss the acronym SMART as far as our SMART goal is concerned. First, it needs to be specific. Don't just say, I'm going to exercise. What are you going to do? Are you going to walk, jog? Are you going to work on your agility? Are you going to work on muscular strength? Are you going to work on muscular endurance? So list specifically what you're going to be doing. Okay, so I have to correct myself there for a second. While I was editing the video, Ash pointed something out to me. Is saying I'm going to work on muscular endurance, muscular strength, or agility. Is that very specific? No, it really isn't. I was just giving you other options so you didn't think it had to be a run, walk, or something along the lines that was working on your cardiorespiratory. So if you were going to work on muscular strength, you could say something like, I'm going to do a certain amount of squats. Or if you wanted to do muscular endurance, I'm going to do push-ups or curl-ups. Or if it's agility, I'm going to do the 5-dot drill to work on my agility. I was just giving you other options. I just realized, thanks to my little buddy over here, that I was not very clear on that, so I just wanted to come back and clear that up. It needs to be measurable. You need to know when you have met your goal, or if you need to go and readjust it after your time period is up. So it needs to be measurable, specifically measurable. We're going to talk about attainable and reasonable together, because they kind of go together a little bit, and I know sometimes I get them confused as to which is which. So, is your goal attainable? Can it be done? If my goal was to go out and run a 1-hour marathon, that's not attainable. There's only been one person to ever run a marathon faster than 2 hours, and just barely. And so a 1-hour marathon is not an attainable goal, short-term, long-term, it's just not realistic. Now, is your goal reasonable? Could it be done by me? Ask yourself that. Could it be done by me? So, if my goal was, I'm going to run a marathon 3 weeks from now, that's not a reasonable goal for me because I don't have the base training leading up to it. Now, for some people who have a good distance running base that they've already trained up and they're in marathon shape, that could be a reasonable goal for somebody. So make sure it is something that you could do, that it is reasonable. Timely, the T in SMART. We've already kind of set our timeliness factor where this is going to be a short-term goal, but make sure you list the amount of time that it's going to be. Before we move on and I share with you my SMART goal, make sure this is fitness or nutrition related. We just covered nutrition last week, so I'll let you bring in a nutrition SMART goal. And also, we're going to use, because I expect most of you to probably do a fitness one, we are going to use FITT from the first semester. I have included that on your 413 document. It is in red because it was a first semester topic, so it is not something that's going to show up specifically on our quiz this week, but I wanted you to have it there as a reference so you didn't have to go digging back to try to find your first semester materials. And again, don't forget that's frequency, intensity, time, and type. We're going to go ahead and talk a little more about that here in just a second. So let me share with you my SMART goal. I will walk/jog 3 times a week for 1 mile at a pace of 15 minutes per mile for 3 weeks. So, specific, measurable, attainable, reasonable, and timely. And it hits our FITT frequency 3 times a week. Intensity is that 15 minutes per mile pace. That's my intensity. Time is 1 mile. And I hear a lot of you saying, but Mr. Steinke, 1 mile is a distance, that's not a time. But when you factor that in with 15 minutes per mile, I know that my time each day of the week is going to be right around 15 minutes, I hope. So that's why that falls in the time category. And type, well, that's walking and jogging. So that's my SMART goal. I expect yours to be different. We're all at different fitness levels, so please make yours a little bit different. We're also going to make sure you also need to be mindful of how you can adjust your goal using the principles of overload, progression, and specificity. Those are the principles of training that we're covering this second semester. They give another basic SMART goal there and then show how those things work. That's what we'll be working on to submit on Thursday. All right, it looks like I've covered everything I wanted to talk to you about today. Hope you're all staying safe. And don't forget, it's a great day to be a Mustang.